Hola, G and G's. I am Trekk with 2Ks, and welcome to the first episode of the Gentlemen's of Cryptos. Damn, I messed it up again. It's Weekend Crypto, okay? It's Weekend Crypto. So the basic idea behind this, like King and Zay have been saying, is they're looking to expand off into different parts of the crypto space as far as news and things. Nonetheless, for those of you who've been on the YouTube channel for a while and you've been active in the comments, or even if you're just trolling in the comments, I'm the one they always refer to as PFC Wells. So it's me, the bald-headed guy with prescription shades on. All right, but nonetheless, let's get into these these stories. And so first story of something that came out. Now, this announcement actually started during the week, and it was finalized in regards to him actually getting this approval. When I first seen it, I saw Bitcoin. I was like, oh, Bitcoin in St. Martin's? Martins. I actually had to like go online to figure out where this island was, which is like to the east of Puerto Rico, like southeast of Puerto Rico. And so this gentleman right here is Rolando, what is his name? Rolando Bryson, and he's a member of the United People's Party of the island. Now, what I also didn't know about this particular island is that it's set up like DR is how it's set up with Haiti, where one side is this part of the island, the other side is that part of the island. They speak two different languages. Same thing happens here. Nonetheless, and when I saw the picture, I was like, oh, where are we gonna do this right here with the tie? We're gonna match it all out. So I'm reading this story and I'm just like, really? Like, why did he choose, Bitcoin Cash of all things to do it with? And as I got into this article a little bit, they talk about how he wants to bring innovation to the island. He's, doing the whole talking point of, I want to make our island the #1 of the crypto capital. Notice no Bitcoin per se. We all understand at this point that Bitcoin Cash is a separate thing from Bitcoin, right? And so a little further in on it, they take a quote where he was talking about like how he wants the country to move. And then there's a mention that he says, thanks to Roger Ver. So Bitcoin Jesus had his hand in this. And the other part that was getting me as I was reading, I was like, all right, but like, where's the exchange? Like, there has to be somebody on the back end. They don't touch that on here. So that was really also another thing that kind of got me in regards to what's going on with this story. But I'm not going to run too far deep into it. I'm going to let my boy L, I'm going to throw this over to him to dig into the weeds on it, because he covers the crypto news in the Caribbean on his segment. So definitely check out his segment too. So moving on to the next story, I just wanted to bring this to your awareness. Bitcoin Cash is making some moves in the Caribbean. Bitcoin Jesus is touching the islands, I guess to say. So jumping into this next story, right? Coinbase gets sued for selling 79 cryptos. Now, when I first looked at this this head title, I was just like, all right, what's going on right now? And as I got into the article, the first thing they jump up with is like, yeah, there was a situation in the US with the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, and that was 2020, right? But this particular article is actually talking about 3 individuals who are bringing a class action lawsuit. Now, when it got done was a lot earlier, but the announcement as far as like what's been going on got brought up again on this weekend in passing. And so this one kind of caught my eye as far as like, what is the strategy behind this? Is it these individuals are looking for some level of compensation, or is it more so about if we get enough court cases to happen within the, the US law system, whether they be class action or whether they be criminal, in relation to cryptocurrencies or the CeFi companies that are operating as these types of businesses? In my mind, enough of those cases being pushed by individuals or small companies and not like financial agencies and departments. Now you got to start having the legislators do some more work, because why? The people are having issue. And if enough of the people keep having issue, how do you maintain control of it? I think that in the case of this particular thing right here, and also the links for this will be in the description on stuff. You can check out this stuff. Just look at what's going on right here in the search bar. And you can find it for yourself. But the idea of if enough of these things keep happening, especially when it comes to the Huey test, and as far as what counts as a securities, which was what set up the whole Securities Acts of 1933, in my mind, the question is, if the technology that allows you to have financial instruments, right, or how you look at money and currency, if it fundamentally changes how you are able to interact with those financial vehicles or that or money in general, why do we still use a rule of measure that is nearly 100 years old that does not address how the technology for that currency, for money, has fundamentally changed? That's just how I'm throwing it out there. That's how it's running around in my head. But nonetheless, you guys are definitely free to follow up on what you think. Definitely say something in the comments, right? Also tell King and Zay, did I do an okay job? Am I all right? Am I just like talking trash? I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, if you don't like it and you downvote, I'm okay with that. It's all good in my book. It's still into action, right? But nonetheless, I'm pushing on. Moving on to this next story. I'm gonna say it this way, right? Because I came across more than one article that was covering what Arthur Hayes had said. And I ran with this one because it was more crypto-centric. The other article that I came across kind of ran off into other more geopolitical related things. And I'm gonna say it this way, right? As far as those of you who are interested in, doing your own due diligence or getting a better like fundamental idea of what's going on in the space and what's going on in relation to currency and money, I'm gonna say, read the actual article he wrote on Medium. This particular article only focuses on the crypto, specifically blockchain related comments that he makes from his original article. And so what he basically focused on to say here is that, one, Bitcoin is going to make it up to $1 million in the future. He didn't give well, let's say it this way. They didn't pick a line where he gave a hard timeline of when it would happen. So as far as this article is concerned, he didn't say in the next 10 years it's going to reach 100 million. He just said in the future it's going to be 100 million. And then the other part of gold is going to make it up to 10K. For all the precious metal folks out there, that could be news to good news to your ears. For those who understand the whole thing about diversifying your assets, that's a whole nother good thing too, right? But let me also wrap this up in saying, this is not financial advice. I'm just some bald-headed guy in shades on the internet, okay? So do your own due diligence. I strongly recommend actually reading the whole article that he wrote on Medium, because it touches and it breaks down way more of the financial history that he talks about for why he comes to the conclusion that Bitcoin is going to end up going up in price value, right? And the basic idea is what he's talking about. He's saying that, in short, governments never just not debase their currency. Everything in history shows us that governments will continue to debase their currency once they figure out the means of being able to do it. So what is that? In Roman history, one of their issues of how they kept debasing their currency was they were shorting the metal, they were clipping, they were making the coin shorter, smaller and stuff like that, right? And so we have the same issue now with the Federal Reserve. They just print out and it's all, most of it is digital. So that's along the lines of what he was trying to explain. Again, I would strongly recommend reading the full article to get the full gravity of what he's talking about. But he just makes the point of, because governments will continue to do what they do that is not in the interest of the people, it is more so about them being able to sustain their monetary system for what it works at that level. There's always going to be an issue of them deflating their currency because of their actions. So moving on to the next story. This one kind of got me. Don't get caught up in regards to the title on this particular website as far as securities.io, and it's just a website that talks about like tech and crypto stuff. So two things that got me when I first seen this, right? One was Polygon collaborating with, let me move this down, Simba Chain. and this is actually Simba Chain. So Simba Chain is basically what is like Consensus is what is it? Infura, which is basically back end stuff, but they're like a white label development platform. So basically, you want to develop your blockchain, come do it on our thing. We'll do all the bells and whistles behind the scenes for you to make it easier. But their focus is on Web 2 based companies and businesses that want to cross over into this new, hashtag Web 3, the new buzzword stuff. And actually, it's two parts to the story. I did not like how they actually wrote this out, but two things happened. The collaboration between Simba Chain and Polygon, and then Coinbase enables support for SPL tokens. When I first saw this title, I thought they were talking about Smooth Love Potion. So kind of, dyslexic in regards to how I saw the letters, but nonetheless, SPL is actually Solana Program Library tokens. That's what that actually means. And I'm gonna break down what's going on in this. Again, these things were kind of in the works of happening prior, but then the articles came out over the weekend saying, hey, this has happened, this got done, all right? So first part we'll go into, which is Coinbase, which is them now offering the Solana Program Library token, which is saying, basically think of MetaMask and how you can add in Binance Chain, Harmony, and the different RPCs as your own thing. Coinbase is now saying, okay, we're going to add those into the wallets. This article kind of threw me off because they said Coinbase was a self-custody wallet. And I'm just kind of like, I don't understand how we're defining that per se. But nonetheless, the point being is that they're adding in a new chain as an option to the EVM, which is the Ethereum based chain. And usually, as the track record has been, they've continually supported Ethereum based tokens, right? So now we're adding a whole new thing into the mix. Now, granted, I don't know what they're seeing, like, 5-10 years down the road, as far as how Solana is going to mature and grow and develop, and how many other dApps and tokens and things like that are going to develop on that chain. But arguably, again, not financial advice, there might be something to this, right? Because at this point, public company, they doing what they do to secure money for the investors and for the people who are using their platform. So this is one of those long-term play moves. I don't know if I'm saying hand clap level stuff, because I just don't do Coinbase anymore. But for those of you who do you get your money, get your gains. I ain't even mad at y'all, right? So we're gonna keep pushing on to this next story. Like I said, this one worked out as a 2-for-1. So now, in talking about this particular thing with Polygon and Simba Chain, so like I said, Simba Chain is, think of how MetaMask works, and you're able to add in, your own RPC chains into it, as far as adding into the different blockchains, and you can use it all within the MetaMask wallet. Simba Chain is looking to add in Polygon for their setup, and I'm gonna have the link in the copy description on this. But the idea being is they can then white label NFT based markets. So it's literally going to be, hey, we have a low cost blockchain money mechanism or token, within our ecosystem that we can automatically integrate into your thing, into whatever blockchain or whatever NFT market you want, and it's going to be low cost. And so now I see this as something as to like what Cosmos is doing with their, what is it, Cosmos Hub, or the IBF, I think it's called. The bottom line is that what you're going to start seeing happening over the next couple of years is we're going to have a new wave of NFT marketplaces. Majority of them are going to be white labeled products that got slapped with a brand on it. And so basically what Simba Chain is looking to do is they're looking to expand into the NFT marketplace, because they understand that X amount of companies, from traditional businesses to crypto companies or projects that are already here, they're going to want to have their own marketplace. They're going to want to sell their own digital collectibles. They're going like, so what am I saying? The cost of, or the barrier to entry for the technical know-how and the cost is going down because of companies like this. They're offering the service to already have everything put together. They can add in the extra bells and whistles features, and boom, you're good to go. And so, where am I going? I just lost track of it because I was looking at the time. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this like under 20 minutes. I know how y'all are on attention spans. Plus, you know, it's a Monday. Who wants to deal with it like that, right? Nonetheless, this is going to be an interesting move in regards to the crypto space, the blockchain space as a whole. They are honestly not the only company that's doing stuff like this. For some of you who are looking at it like, oh, well, where do I tap in at? How do I do your own diligence and research? Like, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy on the internet. But nonetheless, I do have things that I pay attention to on my radar. And I'm bringing this to light for you because this might be up your alley. Just saying. Moving on to this next story, right? So now, most people who know about FTX have no idea who this dude is, right? This dude is the president of the US FTX operations, right? Which basically means he is the second guy behind Sam Bankman. Everyone knows Sam Bankman, or everyone sees Sam Bankman. But if you're in the industry and you're moving in these kind of circles, you know who this dude is too. You just don't know Sam, okay? What was this on? This was on Crypto Slate, by the way. So you can definitely follow through and find this. There was basically a conversation, or it started in regards to a tweet that Brett had put out. And I didn't even say his name. My bad, Brett. I'm sorry I didn't say your name in full. It is Brett Harrison. He is the president of the US division of FTX, okay? And so Brett basically did this tweet thread where he was talking about what are the issues that the cannabis dispensaries face and why banks won't mess with them, right? So when I seen this, I was just like, oh, it caught my attention because it was like, first off, who's this guy? Because I know Sam, I don't know who he is. So now I look at see who he is, what position does he sit in to have this insight that he's presenting through this tweet, and that's also being conveyed and relayed in this article, right? And so he goes into breaking down the three things as far as banks seeing issue with the the legal issue, as far as not every state has has some kind of friendly regulation to it. So for them, it's like, well, if every state ain't doing it, we need to see it at the federal level. But the federal level ain't doing it. So it's one of those like, well, we're not gonna mess with it. What was the other thing? They're seen as a high risk business, which I also thought was interesting in regards to this, as far as what they listed in the article was high risk business in the category of gambling and firearms business. I'm not certain if that's an insurance thing or if that's a money thing in regards to how they're explaining it, because then they throw into the whole thing of compliance programs, which I'm like, all right, well, I get that, you know, you can have degrees or levels of compliance policies for what type of business you operate, right? But nonetheless, that's another thing that he gets into. Y'all can go through and read the rest of it. What I think is interesting is that if you've not been paying attention to FTX has this track record of like throwing things out in the public and then kind of waiting and sitting back to see like, how does the market, how do the people react to what they said? I really should have looked at what the tweet looked like by now as far as reshares and likes or comments or anything, but I literally just like picked it up maybe in the last 2 hours and stuff, and there's other things to look through. But nonetheless, the point being is that this is another argument for them promoting stable coins as a way to onboard traditional businesses as far as the storefronts. It might not be in traditional industry as how cannabis is seen right now. Arguably, like, cannabis is a business now. Whether we say like lawful business, it's been a business for a while, right? But we're not gonna run down that rabbit hole. The point being is that this is him talking out loud about how stablecoins could be used to help the cannabis dispensary side of the industry. He makes an interesting point, and this is how you know it's a money play. Where is it? There's a part where they talk about like only 30% of the dispensary have like financial banking that they're okay with, but they still might have X amount of issues. So that means there's about 70% of the industry, or the dispensary side of it I'm talking, and maybe the farmers too, that are out of the loop of the traditional banking system. That's a whole bunch of money still sitting on the table that no one in traditional banking, including the credit unions, is messing with. So I'm gonna say kudos to FTX. All right, so what was I gonna say? As in closing, I'm Trekk with 2Ks, and this is the Weekend Crypto. This is the Gentleman of Crypto channel. This is the Weekend of Crypto segment, and I'm the host, Trekk with 2Ks. Last thing to close out on, next month is going to be a bunch of conferences and events down in Miami, which is from like the 4th all the way out to like the 15th or something, according to Zay. I'm gonna be down there. A number of the folks from the channel is gonna be down there, as well as other people in the crypto space. So if you come on down, or you already live down that way, say what's up. Other than that, I'm Trekk with 2Ks. One.